Welcome to the Butterfly Effect, brought to you by Moss Adams. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 14 of the Tour de France. 183 kilometers, about 115 miles in length, 5 categorized climbs, and 3 of them are Cat 2s. Now, when you have Cat 2 climbs, that means a majority of the peloton, the field of racers here, have the option of getting away into the break as long as you're not a sprinter, as long as you're not injured, and as long as you're not a GC rider that's directly threatening Tadej Pogacar's UAE Team Emirates. The racing, the first half was phenomenal. 80 kilometers, 50 miles of racing before a breakaway finally got established. During that time, for 25 miles, 40K, you had 5 riders just 30 seconds off the front trying to break the elastic of the peloton, but the peloton back there was having none of it. Everybody wanted to be in that break. It took until after 80 kilometers that finally Michael Woods and Wout Poels jumped away and started a big battle for the KOM points. Wout Poels would win the first one, Michael Woods will win the second, and Wout Poels will win the third. During that time, Cattaneo, the Kunit Quick-Step rider, bridged up to him, and they had 3 up front for about 10 miles until a group of 7 with Trek Segafredo, Bach Mollema, Chavez, Sergio Aguita bridged up to those guys, making it a group of 10. Shortly after that, say about 10 kilometers, 5 miles or so, another group of 4 bridge up with a bunch of French riders, 2 from B&B Hotel. That becomes a group of 14. With 50 kilometers to go on the front of the break of 14, it's Michael Woods flying into the left and crash spectacularly, sliding across the road. Cattaneo, the Kunit Quick-Step rider, does a great evasive maneuvers to avoid crashing, saving it and keeping his bike upright. Michael Woods will jump up quickly and grab his bike and start chasing back to catch up to the group of 13. I'd love to break down his crash for you, but we don't have great video coverage of it, so I'm going to break down what I saw when he's chasing back on. Michael Woods is known for being a terrible descender. His tactics aren't great either, but his descending skills are absolutely deployable, and so I'm going to break down what we're watching behind in the camera as he's trying to come back to the 13 guys in front. He's bombing down the descent. Every time he's going into the turn, he's always adjusting his pedals. When you go into the turns, especially at these speeds, we're talking 50, 60 miles an hour, arriving at these turns, getting on the brakes hard, and then diving into these corners. You want to keep always one pedal down. If you're going left, you want the right pedal down. That will add pressure to the tires and keep that contact patch of the tires to the road solid. Woods oftentimes is adjusting his pedals. When you bring the lower pedal up like this, you're changing the pressure on the tires, and now if you're in a dangerous lean on the bike and you need maximum contact on the pavement, if you adjust the pedals up, you're releasing that contact from the tires, and that's when you start losing the front end or the back end and causing crashes. Throughout his chase, back there with Woods, many times he's adjusting his pedal and he's lifting his weight off the saddle. When you take your butt off the saddle and you're changing your pedal stroke, it is causing the contact between the tire and the pavement to switch from front tire to back tire, and then just releasing it quite a bit of pressure at the same moment at dangerous times. Anytime you hit a bump and you release that pressure off the pedals, you're no longer sitting on the saddle. The bike becomes loosey-goosey, and now the tires will start to hop around with every bump, versus if you just keep one pedal solid down, pressure there solid, pressure on the handlebars, that will keep the bike locked onto the pavement and keep that contact patch between the tire and the concrete more solid so you have more grip. Many times, Michael Woods, we see him changing his position. When you change your position, it's going to change that contact, and that's why we see him crash. While he's on his way back to the group of 13, he's making another mistake. Many times when you're chasing, you know you need the car's help to get the draft. Okay, I'm in favor of the cars. I have no problems with riders drafting off the car if you crashed, if you flatted, in circumstances like that. You can't use the car if you actually got dropped. We don't have timeouts in bike racing, so I have no problem with the cars. Michael Woods has been racing now for enough years that he should understand where the cars are and the value of the cars. He's getting close to the back of the group. He knows the cars are behind him. And when he moves over right, as one of the cars are getting ready to pass, he almost hits the car there. You need to know and learn your trade. Michael Woods at that point in time should have expected that a car is going to pass him on the right side, and not only had expected it, he should have looked back, seen the cars were there, and planned to use the cars intelligently. If you stay to one side of the road, one of the cars, and we're talking about a group of 14 riders up the road. There's 2 B&B hotel riders, but for the most part, everybody else is from a different team, which means there's, let's call it 15, 17 cars following that break of 14 riders. You're going to have official cars, you're going to have motorcycles there, and you're going to have their team cars there. So you know there's always a car that can help you get back to the front group as long as you allow them to pass. Michael Woods is on the left, team car comes up on the right, and Michael Woods moves hard right, and they almost collide. This, in my mind, is Michael Woods' fault. He should have known with that gap being there in front of him that one of the director's cars will come up. Now, believe it or not, the director's cars will help Michael Woods. I've ran in very, very limited times where a director's car, when I came off the back of the group because of a flat or a puncture or some kind of mechanical issue, the cars, the directors will always help you get back on. And especially nowadays, because they know if their rider's in trouble, one of the other directors will help their rider get to the front. You don't ever want to see Michael Woods, Israel Startup Nation, with an Israel Startup Nation car in front of him, because then they'll get time penalty and he'll lose places on GC, or they'll start taking points away from him on different classifications. So as a rider of Michael Woods' experience, he should always expect a car to come up there that he can draft off of. He doesn't. They almost collide. Finally, he pulls back. The car pulls in front, and he gets a free draft back up to the group of 13. As Michael Woods is coming on the back, Mollema's going up the road. Fabulous tactic. It's 44K to go, and you're thinking maybe it's too far, but Bach Mollema has some talent in the legs. He's already won stages of the Tour de France. He's already employed this tactic in the past, and he's won Tour of Lombardy, which is one of the 5 monuments of the one-day classics. He's a fabulous rider. He jumps away, and he knows at this point in time that with the Valley Road undulating a little bit with every descent, he's going to be going fast. Any tactics in back will cause that group to slow down. Right away, he gains 30 seconds, then 45, then 1 minute. He comes up to the last climb of the day at Category 2, about 5 kilometers in long and over 7% in steep pitch. He knows he's got to suffer on this climb, but after that, it's 15 kilometers downhill. The group behind, they're not hesitating much, but they're not working well together either. This is causing Mollema to get maximum time. He'll start the Category 2 with a 1 and 20 second gap. When you got that kind of gap and you're that quality of rider, he's experienced. He sets a steady tempo. Once the climb eases up, he'll get hard onto the pressure to the top. He'll take first KOM points, and he's going over the top with a 1 gap. He did a fabulous job on this climb. Behind in the group of 13, when the Category 2 climb starts, the most aggressive riders, Sergio Aguita and Chavez, are tacking left and right. Chavez will pay for that and drop out of the front group. Sergio Aguita, Michael Woods, Cattaneo, and Conrad will go over the KOM together. Michael Woods will get second place points on the KOM. That will give him the KOM jersey at the end of today's stage. Guillaume Martin will go solid over the climb and stay in the second group just behind the Woods' group. Up front, Mollema is just throwing down on the pedals with 2 kilometers to go. He knows he has the stage win, sits up and starts celebrating. Crosses the line, arms raised for another Tour de France stage win added to his resume. Trek Segafredo will get a great stage win on today's stage 14 of the Tour de France. Behind, bike throwing at the line, Sergio Aguita and Conrad. Conrad taking second, Sergio third. Cattaneo will finish fourth. Michael Woods will sit up and ride across the line, saving his legs for tomorrow's stage. He's going to need good legs for tomorrow's stage to defend the polka dot jersey that he won on today's stage. Should be an exciting stage coming up. Guillaume Martin will cross the line just behind Woods' group to move up to second on the general classification. UAE Team Emirates' Tadej Pogacar rode a fantastic race tactically. He always had 5-6 teammates with him. When he crossed the line, he keeps the yellow jersey. Now moving on to tomorrow's stage, it should be a fantastic day at the Tour de France. We start the big mountains again. We should expect big battle for the breakaway to get established, and then a fantastic battle amongst the GC favorites. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.